Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games.
アクションとクリエーションの見事なる融合。スーパーファミコンゲーム。アクトレイザー。
Hey guys, welcome back to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. We can contact it on Twitter at Podtendo Podcast. Email us at podtendo@gmail.com. We're available on other socials, but you'd have to search us out. I'm not going to bore you with those details. We're a review, let's play, pop culture something show. Pop culture show? Pop culture show. That's probably what I meant to say. I'm your co-host, Mick, and I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host,
Tyson.
Cool, man. We did it. There we go. Back to a numbered episode. We're away from those repetitive X-Men, previously on X-Men shows that we did back to back. Like, you guys are slacking. That's what I heard.
Yeah. It was almost like we were just filling time or something.
Mm-hmm.
No,
well, I mean,
take it up with the executive producers. We're just the hosts.
Yeah, that's it. Stupid guys. I mean, if anyone noticed or cared. Not that I don't even know why I'm making this. We're short for time. Essentially, we wanted to do Metal Gear. The only way it worked is if we did it that way, because this block that we're currently in has 3 shows. This is the end of the 3rd show, so we're a little bit pressed for time. So we might be faster than normal, but that doesn't matter, because Actraiser, it doesn't know what speed is. It takes its time. You play by its rules. It's Actraiser for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. Definitely always up there when people mention best games on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. So
we have to give it a go and see what it's all about.
Yeah, and like maybe we'll get into this, but like that's the perfect way. Is people always talk about this game. It's held in very high regard. It's an amazing experience. It's one of those hidden gems, as people call it. People love to praise this game to no avail. And I've always never... This is actually the first time I ever played it. And maybe I've tried it once more, didn't really get it. Thought it was too difficult. So this is my my first dive into it. That's not to spoil the rest of the podcast, but right? Maybe you have a different experience than me, but I'm like, I see. Well, that's it. Eh? All right, cool. Well, that's Actraiser.
Yep. That's basically. I agree completely. Basically, it is what it is. But we should probably get into it and save a lot of these things for the...
Perfect. Yeah, again, no spoilers, but it's... There you go. So, it was developed by Quintet, published by Enix. Yes, the same Enix from Square Enix. Cool stuff. Sales had 620,000 sales. There we go. That's how you say that. Released was November 1991. How long to beat has this game at 5 hours? Price at release was $49.99. If you factor in inflation, that'd be $87.89 today. On eBay, copy of this bad boy goes over $100 and upwards of a few thousand for a complete copy. eShop's not available. Maybe on the Wii U. I don't know if that's still a thing. And it'll be like whatever they're $8.99. I think is what it charges you in Canadian dollars. Where to play? You need an OG cart emulator. Maybe Wii U. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Not sure. It's got a re-release in a remaster or whatever you want to call these things these days. So I think that's kind of the way to play this game. It's kind of hidden away and not on any compilations that I'm aware of. So
yeah, I don't think there's any like new ones. And like Tyson mentioned, they did a remaster of it, Renaissance, Actraiser Renaissance. Not physical copy at least yet, but if you're interested, I think it's for most of the consoles. I just bought it for the Switch, $40. It's okay. It is definitely a prettier version of this game, but it has its flaws and it's very long. Whereas this game is 5 hours. I think I played about 5 hours and I'm in the second area in Renaissance. So a lot of bang for your buck, a lot of text that I just don't care about.
Yes. Well, nothing like being forced to read pages and pages of text.
That and like the new Pokemon game, Arceus. I got like Legends Arceus, and all it is just talking. Like they're like, go talk to this guy, and he talks to you a bit. And I was like, I don't care. I just want to catch Pokemon. Like I actually have, I don't give a sniff about this story. And they talk and like, where's my skip buttons, guys? But we're not here to skip stuff because it's the Podtendo podcast. You have to obviously listen start to finish. And if you've listened to other episodes, and this isn't your first one, I don't know why I'm doing this weird voice, I'm sorry. We have to jump into our patented Wayback Machine, travel back to November 1991. I want to find out what does the world look like? What does the pop cultural landscape look like when this game came out? Because that's how I roll. We're going to start out by Tyson asking, what is his favorite show? I'm going to put him on the hot seat, make some tough decisions back in 1991. Because that's what time travel involves, tough decisions. I want to know if could be a compadre, if he wants to come along on this journey. He could watch The Simpsons Season 2, Episode 4, 2 cars in every garage, and 3 eyes on every fish. Mr. Burns runs for the governor. Okay, all right. Or how about James Bond Jr., Season 1, Episode 6. Dr. No kidnaps Professor Frost, a scientist involved in cryogenics. All right. In order to thaw out a master criminal who had hid his fortune before being frozen. So of those 2 shows, Tyson, what would you rather watch?
Ooh, so I'm going to go with James Bond Jr. and I'll give you why. I like this episode of Simpsons. It's good. Just not one of my favorites. Kind of like Blinky gets introduced and then hijinks ensues, and it's kind of okay. But James Bond Jr. is this weird like spin-off of the James Bond franchise that like nothing else has ever got like a random spin-off like this. But yeah, so it's worth a check out, and I'm gonna make everybody listen to the amazing theme song. So.
Oh, I can't wait. There's no commercials, so you know it's good. All right, here we go. So James Bond Jr. Good job, James Bond Jr. I mean, there's not much left. There was only 18 seconds, but I'm thinking that might be our outro song too, so we might have to listen to that one again. All right, there we go. So good job, James Bond Jr.
Yeah. I think the theme song's better than the show, and you guys all just heard it, so it's quite the treat.
Nice. That's James Bond. All right, other TV shows you can be watching as Home Improvement, Roseanne, A Different World, Cheers, and Full House. You're like, psh, adult shows. I'm a little kid. That's the best part of being the 90s, is you're being a child. If you're an adult, your life is wasted. Other cartoons, though, you could be watching, because that's what kids like. Bucky O'Hare, A Bunch of Munch, Darkwing Duck, Doug, Pro Stars, Rugrats, Super Mario World, and The Pirates of Dark Water.
Oh, dang. Yeah, this is an amazing period. Definitely. I know where if you're going to send me back, I think I've already decided, just on the cartoons alone.
Nice. But you're like, well, maybe we want to see what's on the real house, the silver screen. What's going on in the theaters this week? So the week that this came out, I guess specifically November of 91, we have Highlander 2, The Quickening, The People Under the Stairs, Beauty and the Beast, The Addams Family, Heart of Darkness, and My Girl.
Pretty good. Right. I mean, not bad.
As a kid, you'd be like, Beauty and the Beast? Are you kidding me? They're going to sing. There's a singing candlestick? All right. What about top video games? I went to the game store right now and stole everything. What could I have? Wow, you're fucking rebellious little kid. You'd have A Link to the Past. All right. Final Fantasy IV. Mystical Ninja. I believe that's the one we just played. Final Fantasy Legends 3, which is the handheld Game Boy Final Fantasy spin-off series, SimCity, and Sonic the Hedgehog. This actually might be Tyson's perfect time.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. Yeah. I would definitely got Final Fantasy IV and Link to the Past. Like, these are 2 of my like favorite games of all time. And Sonic, but this is Sonic 1, yeah. So we both know where we sit on Sonic 1.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, fair enough. All right, okay, maybe the top 3 songs. So I think because we've been here before, just based on the games that came out, I think they might have been, maybe, I don't know, it was 91 or whatever. Probably all of 91. Probably would have got very similar songs. So I was like, what other songs do we got? Let's go with the top 3 songs from 1991. Switch it up just a little bit. We've been back again this time for a very long, like we're in season 7. We spent the last 6 years listening to these songs. Let's switch it up. Like the number 3 song, which I don't know if we've heard before, but it's Gonna Make You Sweat by CNC Music Factory. Sweat. All right, that's
a
thing.
Definitely like a 90s pump up song before sports thing.
Yeah, it's exactly what that was. I keep thinking of just like old school. I think that's where I know from. So, but the number 2 song, I don't think of old school. It's I Wanna Sex You Up by Color Me Bad. We're under a strict time limit, so we have to go, guys. Just like the top song as I slowly talk and type, which is really is a love ballad by Canada's own Bryan Adams. Everything I do for you. That short, but I'm actually constitutionally obligated to allow all Bryan Adams songs to hit their climax.
Yeah, well, they all sound the same, so you never know which one it is. So you just have to play all of them out, unfortunately.
And as I'm looking ahead to on our notes, I'm like, man, we've got a lot to get through and a little time to get there. But this game doesn't have a lot of detail, so if we rush too much, we'll be done in like 20 minutes. I'm like, well, all right, so but now we know what the pop cultural landscape looks like. Tyson obviously looks like a good time travel compatriot, so he might be able to jump back in and travel back to this time and live in basically his perfect time. James Bond Jr., Link to the Past, Final Fantasy IV. Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Let's look at the development details of this game. Got apparently a big wall of text. Yippee, 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 yippee. So, religious subtext of this game. This game is seen as an allegory for the Judeo-Christian monotheism. It is in the original Japanese version, the protagonist's name is God, and the antagonist is referred to as Satan. Nintendo of America had a strict policy regarding game content in the early 1990s, especially in regards to material that could be deemed offensive. Hence, the main character of the game was renamed the Master, although the allegory remains as he travels the globe in the Palace of the Clouds, accompanied by an angel slaying demons, creates lives, performs miracles, and is prayed to by the populace of the world. Version differences. So further changes were made from this game's North American release. The game's title was slightly changed to Actraiser with a new logo. Monsters' lairs were now indicated by skull-like symbols, changed from the Star of David. Action segments possess an overall easier level design. Enemies were given new attacks, spells require less magic to cast, spike pits do not instantly kill the player, and more time is given to finish each segment. However, the simulation segments have been made more difficult. For example, it is very difficult to reach the max experience level in the US version. European releases use changes from the North American version as a base. The professional mode, now called the action mode, is available from the start. Both the original story mode and the action mode now have 3 difficulties. Wow.
Yep, that's a lot of information to kind of unpack. Interesting.
What is your take on Judeo-Christian monotheism?
Well, don't get me started, but if we didn't have a time limit, I would go on. I'm just surprised that this game even got like was made. But it's the original like God simulator kind of thing. We've had these things before. I guess like even like The Sims is kind of basically what that is nowadays. But I'm interested that they literally did choose like the words God and Satan. That definitely got censored for sure. Yeah. And the only thing I know is in the US game, like your magic all uses only one like unit as opposed to like multiple, so you can just spam your most powerful spells for easy kills.
That helps a lot. So ports. So a modified version of this game was made for the Nintendo Super System arcade platform. The arcade version features only the action stages, similar to professional mode in the retail version. Square Enix released a limited version of this game for mobile phones, published for Macrospace on September 1, 2004. It consists of the first three side-scrolling levels of the game, with a town-building portion completely omitted. Actraiser also became available on the Wii Virtual Console. It was released in Japan on March 20th, 2007 in why am I reading the dates? That seems silly. As the game was published by Enix, Square Enix currently holds the rights to the Virtual Console edition. Actraiser Renaissance, which is the remastered version for modern consoles, a remaster under the title of Actraiser Renaissance was announced for release September 23, 2021 for Microsoft, PS4, Switch, iOS, and Android. It drastically alters the flow of gameplay with extra input commands in each action stage and a new tower defense segment in the simulator mode. It also introduces a post-game stage not present in the original game. Alcleone? Sure,
No
why
idea.
not? All right, cool. Anything with the ports?
I didn't play the port, so
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
I kind of think that the best part of this game is the sim portion. Even sometimes it sucks, but the sim portion is the most interesting. So just playing this game, like the side-scrolling stuff, isn't anything to like brag about, right?
Oh yeah, like I think this game's super thin, and people love it because it's like a hybrid of these two genres, and it does it in a very interesting way and frames it in a very neat way. But it's just like the super bare bones. Like I thought that there'd be way more action side-scrolly bits, but they're like essentially like set pieces, and they're so like blink and you miss it because like. I don't know, even just playing the Game Gear X-Men games, like those levels are massive compared to essentially all the acts combined. It feels like.
Yeah. It'd be similar to, I think, what's it called? Search for Eden, right? Evo, Search for Eden.
Yeah.
Would be similar. But imagine they just like omitted all of the overworld traversing parts and it was just cut into like stages. Right?
Yeah,
with,
but
like,
there's at least like a reason to grind, and this is just like move right.
Yeah, I
get
guess
to the boss.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like it is very bare bones. I don't know why they would keep strange, very, very, very strange. So controls of this fun game. So the main title isn't too intuitive. It allows you to select a stage, save. The platforming sections are either fair challenges. I kind of find are way too difficult. Right, you can jump, slash with your sword. The overworld is a combo of a shooting game and a sim/world builder. You have to defend the people from monsters while they build roads, create larger cities, and seal the monsters' portals. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that definitely the overworld part is really interesting. There's not a ton you can do. It's not like, I want this to be a farm and this to be like housing. It's like, no, you just kind of direct where the little people go, and it just builds it out.
Can destroy houses, and they like rebuild better houses. But that's kind of it. Like at a certain point, you have enough magic to use Earthquake on the overworld, and if your like population is big enough, or you have enough, let's say, call them like level 1 houses, you can just destroy everything and get level 2 houses to get a bigger population.
Yeah, then you just wait for them to rebuild it all.
That's it. It's weird. Anyways, first memories of this fun game. So I know we played this game as kids. We rented it from the gas station, the same one where we got Final Fantasy IV and Mystic Quest, and I'm pretty certain we never beat the first stage. I remember fighting the Centaur a couple times, and if I beat him, trying to figure out how to navigate the map and like what exactly I was doing in this overworld and like how it would work, far beyond my capabilities. So I lied when I said this is the first time I played this game. This is the first time I beat this game. For the first time I played it was when I was a dumb little kid, around the same time as Mystic Quest.
Yeah, I don't remember playing this game at all. I remember it existing and seeing it always on the lists. But I've never kind of like gone out and seeked it because I was just like, the premise just never really super intrigued me. But I know everybody claims it's really good, so I wanted to give it a fair shake. But yeah,
nice.
First time beating it all the way through though. So,
nice.
But there's not a whole lot to it. So
There really is not. There's not. So I know we were saying we were pressed for time, but look, 20 minutes, we're already at the level notes. And the level notes, even though there's a big wall of text in front of us, not a lot happens. And then the notes are kind of done because, anyways, the story. So we are God. We were woken up to find out the devil has started harassing the human creatures that we left on Earth. We must use our divine intervention to help them rid the world of evil and help humanity grow. So level 1 is Fillmore. So we start off in a forest action scene. There are trees, goblins, a tree with a boner, and finally we have to fight a centaur.
Yeah, pretty easy. I think the centaur, if you just literally stick to the one side, you can, he just won't attack you. You can just or he does like a lunging attack that you could easily just jump over. It's a really easy pattern as long as you just stick to the left, or just tank the damage because he doesn't do a ton of damage. It's pretty easy first boss.
Yeah, again, as kids we couldn't beat that, but I don't know, we're dumb. Maybe short attention spans. Yeah, and we rented this and would bring it home, and the box art must have been really cool. What does the box art look for this?
It's a guy standing there with a sword or on a little cliff.
Oh yeah, it's like a cliff with lightning coming down.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? All right, well I'm glad I rented it multiple times. In the second part though, we get to play a world simulator. So you have to fight off bats and there's a dragon. You have to instruct people how to build/explore and seal evil circles. There are events in each area that connect the worlds and move the story forward. In this one, our people learn how to build bridges. So if they develop or they go through the land enough, I think at some point you can find something or seal some evil magic hole. They learn how to build bridges, and then you can head across a little channel and stop the dragon from spawning. It's thrilling stuff. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Essentially, you just kind of direct them to the spawning points or hell points, or what the heck you want to call them. Gateways.
There's trees in the way, so you just use your lightning to level all the trees, and then they are free to build their little roads and set up little settlements in each area. It's super easy. You just
very basic.
Yeah, you can kind of direct them in which way you want to go, and you get 5 moves. You can say head this way, go here, and they kind of follow you. So that's about it. In the third section, one more action section though, we end up to kind of go to a castle. There's some not super tricky jumps. There's some faces that throw balls at you, and you end with a Minotaur fight. I found the Minotaur definitely easier than the Centaur. So there you go.
Yeah. He's not super difficult. I feel like but cool design. Glad Minotaur's in here. Glad that we're doing a lot of mythology. Minotaurs. Why didn't I say the are pretty typical, so I'm glad that they're in here. It's cliched enemy, but cool addition.
I bet
Centaurs,
you if you looked at
Minotaurs.
when the Minotaur was around, so ancient Greece, which kind of predates the Roman Empire, you probably, if I went through and let's say I did a cultural significance and looked at all the bosses in this game and kind of what age, it probably would be early man, beginning of civilization type mythology, which is kind of neat, right? That they could kind of play into this world and this could be our world. However, I didn't do a cultural significance because I was figured to be strapped for time. So there you go. So not a super hard first area. Action sections are really easy. Sims aren't bad, not great, just a bit slow. On to level 2 though, we get to a blood pool. So we start off on a coastline / wrecked ship area, and we have to fight a manticore. Not super difficult, just avoid his attacks. I think there's a couple ways to cheese him. Just watch out when he does his lunge attacks. You'll be alright. In the next area though, we have to use sunlight to dry up some marshes so people can explore. There's a red devil here. You can unlock a magic called Magical Stardust if you find a magical skull and you use it to seal the red devil's lair. This attack is very powerful.
Oh yeah, and if you get this, you just break the game.
Yeah,
because like I said earlier, it only uses one unit of your energy, your magic, and you can just basically spam it a bunch, 3-4 times, just save it all for each boss and easily proceed through this game. It's that's the easiest strategy that I've found. But,
yeah. Once you find that, it is basically you're just cheesing the game, and you can, I don't know, live with that, I suppose. And then finally, the final area here is we're back into a castle. Who would have thought? Another castle. There's some chain elevators. You have to fight Zeppelin Wolf. He's like a magician in the second form. After 50%, he becomes a wolf. If you use Stardust, he dies really early. I didn't even see the wolf, so there you go. The level simulator. a little different, but very similar to the very first one. All right, so level 3 is Cass, and you have any other blood pool? Cool name?
No, but it's starting to become a pattern of like open area, and then you go into a castle and overthrow it. So it's kind of neat. I reminds me a lot of like Castlevania, but mini Castlevanias.
Yeah,
Adventures. So.
those action sections always remind me of. I think based on the mythology, the way like there's lots of axe enemies. You kind of have like limited attack, very very Castlevania-y. So kind of neat. Level 3 though is Cassandra. Now we're in a desert. This first area, you see that you're like traversing cliffs. There's skeleton platforms and a sandy desert. The boss here is Dagobah. Dagobah. You heard me right, people. Yoda's planet that he hides on. It's a monster. He's a giant worm. Use Stardust and he dies.
Yep. It's super easy actually.
Yeah.
But I always enjoy a good desert area. Has a good vibe to it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
fun level.
Hopefully you don't enjoy it too much, because the overworld sees us use rain to turn the desert into livable space. There's a quest here where you can learn music, which you stop the people in Fillmore from fighting, and they start to sail. And I think it's like you want to try and max out the populations in these areas. So like there's these weird little side quests, which are neat, unless you're playing Actraiser Renaissance. And then there's these whole overarching stories. I don't know. I haven't got that far yet, actually, in the remake. I'm gonna play through the whole thing, but I don't know. Pyramid? Yeah. On to the pyramid? Yeah.
Yeah, more or less. It's an interesting little spot, but nothing too cool or amazing.
Yeah. So the final act here is pyramid. Inside we see sphinx faces, mummies, and the boss is a pharaoh. He's like a big head of a pharaoh. Goes down pretty easy with Stardust. Yay!
Yeah, a lot of rinse and repeat at this point. But cool thing, like there's mummies and all sorts of fun enemies that you got to play, and wish that there was a little bit more of a creative boss than just a like giant pharaoh head. It seems like kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Like you could have done like a big scary mummy or anything.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
An Anubis looking dude. Yeah. Anyways, pharaoh. Yeah, pharaoh. There you go. Okay, action stages. Some of the jumps are kind of difficult on this one. They actually like they're challenging. Overworld kind of gets repetitive. It's losing me. On to Atios, level 4. So we start in an action-themed waterfall area. The end boss here is a serpent. Hey, cool.
Yeah, this was the first boss that kind of gave me some trouble.
You need to learn his pattern of where to jump and where to stand and where to slash, and then once you kind of figure out his like 3-plex, he just repeats it. Move on. But learning that is definitely a skill. So.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, it's very cool boss design, very cool, like you're fighting on a waterfall, and then just for it to just just do the same pattern over and over again, just like, you could have done something cool here, but you didn't, but...
Yeah, but onto the overworld, the sim area, there's some rubble that needs to be destroyed, so we have to use a volcano, or lightning to destroy that. What's the last area? We used rain to make the desert go away, we used sunlight to dry up the marshes, and we used the lightning to destroy trees. So we're kind of back to that. Hooray. I literally nothing else noteworthy happens. At one point the volcano explodes, although I don't think it kills everyone, so
no, actually I think it just like everybody just, you can actually just leave it while it's just still going crazy, and then just come back later and nothing's changed. Not like the place is on fire, or it's just still a volcano flying off. So.
I think even at the end of the game, it's still a volcano. So then the final area sees us inside the volcano. So we have to past some fire obstacles. And finally, there's a boss, the Fire Wheel. He has a really simple pattern where you can just kind of attack him. Let's like jump up as he rolls to the ground. He jumps up again. You just go down. And you just kind of like repeat this little like super easy cycle. Done. However, I did undersell that sim area a little bit because I loved the sim section in this game. It isn't just a sim; it has like a mild bullet hell shooter over top of the sim world. There's these enemies, these skulls. They take 8 arrow hits. So everything else. So bats are 1, blue dragons are 2 or something, red demons are 4, and these skulls are 8 hits. It takes a lot. They deal a lot of damage. You can get severely hurt, kind of get limited. It does kind of require, and I think this is where the game should be. This is what it should have been. So it should have been like a simple simulator, but with a bullet hell kind of over top of it going on at the same time. And I think that's like super neat, right? Like super layered. So it's not just a simulator, but it's also a bullet hell game on top of it. Initial concept is amazing. I love the idea. The execution of this game, though, and this idea is absolutely just horse shit. Like, there's this area and the next one are kind of interesting, but I mean, that's it. You know, like 2 of the 3 areas you did okay. The rest suck. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it's super short. Like you blink and it's over, and you're like, wow, that's it. I guess. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that It's interesting, like the overworld is definitely a highlight, and because you spend so much more time there, it's actually a lot more enjoyable, and feels like the developers actually spent more time developing the overworlds and putting a lot of thought into how that should work. But it's pretty shallow. It's not like really in depth where you're like, oh, okay, I need to think at any point. It just kind of like, okay, trees blow things up. Oh, it's marshlands, dry things up. That's dry, let it rain. And they just kind of direct people. It's not really complex or all that
but like
engaging.
The little action and stuff. Like if they would have made it more of like a Galaga, and they would have had like more interesting things happening, right? And yet it was more of a management of like enemies and resources early on. You'd still always kind of get to that point where once you seal up like the 2 skull enemy circles, it becomes really simple, right? And the challenge is almost not there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's but I think it's for what it is. It's pretty fun. I have a weird theory about this game, but I'll get into it a little bit later. So
cool. So on level 5 is Marahana. The next area we start off in a jungle swamp area. The boss here is Rafflasher. He's a big vine creature. You can kind of attack his little blue mouth. He has this vine that comes and attacks you. You can like lure it to the far end of the screen and then work your way back. The overworld sees us drying out the marshland of so the population can grow. Before we can get to the second action stage, we see all the followers start worshipping Satan. So I guess we should probably stop that because that ain't cool.
Yeah. It's kind of neat little twist. It's almost like these people that we've helped are kind of now turning against us. So, but yeah, all in all, it's kind of raises the stakes. Pretty neat little environment. Makes it feel like a lot more tropical. And yeah, I always enjoy me some palm trees. So nice. This wasn't too bad of a level. Like I think that the levels are like
they get better.
Fine.
The first 3 are pretty bad. The last 3 I think are better. Right? Like if you would have had one intro level and then jumped into these, it would maybe like something unique about the other areas. Well, this game might have been better. Well, it's held back in certain spots, right? So then the final area here, the final action stage. Once again, we're in a castle. There's some spikes, axe guys, eyeballs. Boss here is Kalia. It's like a magician, spams magic, or ride the platform to deliver attacks. And then afterwards, I think there was like a dark mirror that the leader started like looking into, which turned everyone evil. But we stopped them, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I wish that they didn't run out of mythological creatures until like right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of similar to like the Pharaoh's head. Doesn't really like move too far away from the center. So it's easy to kind of just wreck. But
yeah. All right. Then finally, level 6, Northwell. I guess there's 7, so not finally. Penultimately, level 6, Northwell. So we head to the northernmost part of the map, and we find it a snow-covered land. The first action scene sees us fighting through a snowy field before entering a cave with ice toboggans, and we end up fighting a boss, Merman Fly. Remember Merman Fly?
He's in my notes he's called an incubus.
Okay.
But like just a winged demon. But yeah, I like your definition. Mermaid fly better.
Merman Fly. Well, that's the list I copied. And I mean, I think at some point he flies and he like throws bombs on you, and you're in the water, and that's it. It's good times.
Nice.
This area is small, and if you're kind of playing through this game and you max out all the populations, like think it doesn't take you very long to like max out this area as well. Use the sun to melt some snow. There's 4 monsters lair. There's like a bridge or something, but it goes pretty quickly. And that was it. It wasn't that hard for being the last overworld. I wanted like more action, more like shooting, more chaos. Didn't get it. In the final area, sees us head into a tree. We have to descend through some caves and some roots before fighting the boss, Arctic Wyvern. Cool.
That's fair. My notes say ice dragon.
Also known as an ice dragon, though.
Yeah, I don't know. This area kind of gave me like a Game of Thrones vibe, where it's like it's north, so it's all frozen and Arctic, and it's got its own like little hard landscape. So you'd expect like maybe a ramp up of difficulty, but it's just kind of like, hey, climb this tree.
Yeah.
And which is weird because it's like, how did a tree this big grow in the north?
I guess, and then like it got really cold. I mean, it's really like Lord of the Rings. You have this tree, right, that has like knowledge underneath of it, and there's an ice dragon. Fucking, I think Martin stole his whole theory. This game is just Lord of the Rings.
You mean Game of Thrones?
What did I say?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about what we're doing in our next podcast. So, oops.
Yep, that's all good.
All right, there you go. So, Game of Thrones. Kind of anticlimactic. That's my note. I wrote some really nice notes today. So then finally, level 7, the 7th part is Death Helm. Now that the world has been saved-ish, we can head to the final area where the devil is kicking it. And we get a boss rush. So we get faster versions of the Minotaur, Zeppelin Wolf, Pharaoh, Firewheel, Kalia, the big wizard guy, and Arctic Vyvern, or Ice Dragon, before facing off against the end boss, Tanzra. How was your boss rush?
It was pretty good. I think if you can beat the first couple. It's nice that you can cheese a lot of these earlier enemies because of their predictable patterns. So you can get a pretty far ways without using all your health. Because I almost died near the end, but it's not too bad. It's like, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Kind of like turns into a giant little dragon skeleton floaty thing. It's fun.
Yeah, and then finally
how was yours, I should say?
Oh, yes, it was what it was. I mean, save states are a hell of a thing, and I'm pretty sure if you die, you just like restart on the same boss with full health. So if you have something like 8 lives, as long as you're taking down one guy every life, you're fine. And just don't use your magic. Save your magic to the end. So the final guy is Tanzra. He has 2 forms. His first form sees us launch meteors, and then he kind of drops his head down, and if you have like that beam attack, super easy to like deal the damage there. In his second form, he barrages you with projectiles, and he makes little flame guys that follow you. And if there's like this light attack, the best magic spell in the game, if you use that, it like destroys everything. You can deal a bunch of damage with your sword beam, and you win. Hooray.
Yeah. Kind of makes you feel like Goku a little bit, but it's good times.
Good times indeed. All right, so ending of this game. You want to get into the ending, or do you want to talk about your theory first?
It's just a little one-off theory, so I can get into it real quick. I think that this game kind of like set up mobile gaming as it is. So there's like an overworld that you have to like manage, and then there's a little tiny little action bits. But the action bits aren't really anything of substance. They're there to kind of like make you want to keep playing the boring overworld management stuff and do all like.
So you're thinking like Simpsons Tap and Go or whatever it's called is just, this is like the precursor.
Yeah, but I was thinking more like a Clash and Clans kind of thing, where like you have this overworld that you're managing. You're not really like, things don't change. You're not really evolving too much. It's never like, oh, I'm going to tear down my thing and redo it all the time. It's kind of like you build it up and then just sit there and resource gather, and then every so often there's an action bit, like you go raiding or whatever it is. So it's like, this just like mobile gaming nowadays? Is that what Actraiser created? So
all right. Yeah,
that's my theory.
I could see that, because that is kind of essentially what this is. Ending, and then I'll give my current thoughts. Probably should have given your current thoughts and current thoughts. Oh well. Ending. When you defeat him, you rid the world of all the deities' forces outside of yourself. So you go around and you visit everyone. In Fillmore, their prophet died, and something about destiny. Great. In Bloodpool, the kid you met, Teddy, He was voted to be sacrificed to you, so that's a tough look. Cassandora, the monster in the pyramids, were actually souls of trapped slaves. But since you stopped all the evil, they're free now, so that's pretty exciting. In Adios, their leader died, but then you reigned, so they believe in you now, or something like that. That's pretty good. Marahena, the swampland, they build a lot of buildings on their little island, and it's a shame that they became Satanists for that short period of time. That's too bad. In Northwell, there are two sets of initials carved on a tree. Something about love. Sure, why not? And then as you go check on the final temple, you find out no one is praying to you, which is both a blessing and a curse. They only believe and talk to you during hard times. But if the world is good, they don't believe in God. All right, wow, that's fucking dark. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just copied the text at the end of the game, because it basically says as such. It's like, well, these people, like Teddy goes sacrifice, so that sucks.
Yep.
And you're like, man, this game is like heartless. It's like you go through it, it's like you go on.
And I'm actually so interested to see how they handle that storyline in Renaissance. So Teddy is like a prominent character, and he runs away from home, and you have to like stop him from these hordes of monsters, and like you have heroes in each area, and they like are kind of your analogs for destroying these hordes of monsters, and you can do like magic spells. But like Teddy's a real character, and he comes and he talks, and he like has a relationship with this hero. So I'm like really curious if they like kill him off. Dark.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because like, I mean, it's pretty bleak. Like, and you end up powerless. You built this whole world, helped everybody out, but you're powerless because nobody believes in you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you still have like the power of earthquakes. You could go in and like just fuck their shit up whenever you want.
Oh yeah, so you can just be vindictive, but it's kind of a bitter ending. It's a dark ending.
It is.
There's
like the ending. Like I was like, oh, was this game good after all? Because that's kind of a dark ending. I don't think so. So current thoughts. This game is as good as I was expecting. Okay, all right. There's some really fun parts, but then there's also these really bad parts. And in the end, it's an experience I have, but I don't really care about it. Right? Like, if you've never played Actraiser before, don't. If you're interested in playing it, give it a try, but like, don't commit to beating it. And if you love this game, I understand why you love this game and you hold it dear, because like there is lots of substance to this game, and I think it'd be fun to go back and replay, and it doesn't take a lot of brain power, and it's probably a good movie, like throw on and like watch a movie or something. But if you're just focusing on this game, it's really bland.
Yeah, and I think like this game is like it's not bad,
no,
but it's like short.
Yeah.
It's like very shallow.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of substance to it. It's just.
But like there kind of could be, right? Like if they made the overworld segments, because there's those two that were kind of difficult with those skull heads. They were tough. And it was like actually interesting. And I was like, oh, it's hard for me to manage like where people go and like make sure I'm destroying the right land and like creating space for them to travel. And also fighting off these monsters. Like it does give you something to think about. Like resource management is tough because it's like almost like your brain power. But then most of the game, like four of the 6 don't give you that challenge. So
yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of shallow. Mm-hmm. There's like good bits, but it's not like it's a good appetizer. You just want more of the good parts and less of the monotony and grinding. But it is what it is. That's kind of my thoughts.
Nice. So then finally, what would you change? All right, so I would increase the difficulty of the sim portions and create kind of like a semi-challenging bullet hell game that you have to kind of play over top. I really like this idea of interlaying one game over top of another, right? So essentially they're creating like a simulator that you have to be somewhat active in, and then a bullet hell where you have to like divert most of your attention, and like that back and forth and that pull. And I think that'd be really, really cool. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't create a boring tower defense minigame that slows the gameplay down to a crawl and turns this fast-paced sim into a long, drawn-out experience that makes you not want to continue playing the game. So that's how I would do it. But, like, I don't know. Who am I to say? Square Enix, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would change... There's kind of two changes I would either go. I would either, like, triple the length of worlds that you can go to. Mm-hmm. Like, either give me like lots of things to do, or like expand the platforming, or or expand the overworld. Like, give me more things, like a bigger overworld to actually like have to scroll around and manage. But the overworld's super small. The like 2D platforming is super short, and there's like 5 levels, and what feels like 5 levels, because the first one just blinks and it's over, and then the north one's like there's super nothing fast to it. It's like 10 minutes. So there's like barely 5 levels in this game, and you're like, okay, so like this game you can either wrap it in the afternoon, and like that's kind of like a weird experience to be like, here's this full-fledged game that everybody says is so good, and you can wrap it in 5 hours, and like it seems like there's just not enough things. So either give me like 12 or 15 levels, or like give me multiple sections of the 2D platforming and or bigger like land areas to actually like manage. I don't know. There's way better things to do, or actually like give me something to do on the overworld. Like if I have to manage like resources of like, you can't expand or build more roads until you get more like wood, so you need to expand and go into lumber, and like there's so many cooler things you can do with it. This is just so bare bones. It feels like a free to play mobile game. It's so, I don't know, it's frustrating.
Yeah Cool. All right. And are you buying it? So apparently this is the base of a lot of Enix's world. So their games Soul Blazer, Illusions of Gaia, and Terranigma are all spiritual successors to Actraiser. So I love Actraiser. There's some cool games you go check out. Yeah, you like playing those ones. And there's an advertisement for Actraiser 2, which appears in a computer in RoboTrek.
Interesting. I could see how like they just threw all the Enix games in one big universe, because I mean this basically is just like a birth of a whole world and stuff. So I could see how you can like easily lay the groundwork, and this can be just fundamentally like the base of the lore kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's doesn't make me want to run out and play these games, to be honest. No. In fact, it makes me want to be like, if it is a Squaresoft game or an Enix game, because unless it's Evo, I'm probably not in.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think I'm at. I don't know. I feel like Illusion of Gaia is one of those games that's like bandied about. Man, maybe we'll play that at some point. The other ones, I don't know if I...
Yeah, I hear Soul Blazer's all right, and I know lots of things about Terranigma, but I'm like, I played all the good...
Illusion of Gaia remake. All right, now I'm in. Let's see. What is going on in here?
Mix shopping. So
it's released. Yeah, cool. All right, there you go. Hey, we're under time. Good, awesome, great. I'm glad When apparently Actraiser 2, there's no sim portion. It's just the action segment. So
interesting. Yeah. So it's going to be like 10 minutes to play.
Yeah, probably not something we need to touch on. So final cultural significance, I'll read through that. I think we're out. So in this section, we look at game tropes, marketing tactics, interesting stories, talk about how this game relates, give other examples, tie it all back together, and due to time, I think we're skipping that for this game. Oh man. There isn't anything too amazing anyways in this game. Again, we kind of talk about the mythology and some of the creatures that they pulled apart, and like they're probably from a similar time period when this game's supposed to be set, so kind of like the dawn of civilization, whatever that's supposed to be, like 6,000 BC or something like that, right? So there's some allegories to Christianity and a lot of mythology pulls, but nothing super noteworthy that goes above and beyond anything that we've covered over the years. Look at that, throwing shade at this game. It sucks. We're under 50 minutes. Cool.
Yeah, I think we did it.
Yeah.
We made this game. Like, this is 1/5 of the entire game time that takes to beat this game. So
yeah.
Congratulations, listener.
Yeah, if you started playing this game, you're probably like finishing up Bloodpool, headed off to the desert. Is that right? Yeah, there you go. So you get to fight Pharaoh soon. Jelly. Super, super jelly.
Yeah. Enjoy it before it kind of just keeps meandering and then ends.
Yeah. So sweet. So that's it. That's the end of this numbered show. We're diving into our summer of Lord of the Rings. So it's pretty exciting. SideQuest Cinemas, we're looking at the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Kind of prepping for the Amazon show this fall, and just give us a little bit of a break so we're not just playing video games all the time. Good stuff. We've got a couple fantasy games. We're playing RPG over the summer too. Glorious.
Yep. Should be good. Should be a fun summer. Pretty relaxing, and then we can get set up for the fall, and hopefully there's some good news that breaks. I have one thing I want to discuss with you off air, so we don't use up all of our recording time. But
smart.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, this one, numbered show. 50 minutes is like, it's okay. I mean, truncate silences, add some sound effects. It might be under 50, but again, tis all right. Once in a while you can have a short podcast. So especially on this game doesn't.
We
have
went
a
over.
lot. Yeah, we like. So, it's not very good.
I mean, we're like talking like plus or minus 10 minutes. Yeah. We're good.
Perfect. So. Awesome. Cool. So I think that's it. Done. Keep these podcasts a little bit short over the summer and go from there. I really hope our next game has enough content to get 2 episodes out of it. Otherwise, we might have like 3 really short episodes in a row.
No, I think we definitely have. We have 2 games to play, so there's lots of content to talk about. If we can keep that under just like 2.5 hours, I'll be surprised.
2 games? What 2 games are you playing?
Okay, or maybe we're stretching the first game out. Maybe I'm...
Oh, were you playing Golden Sun, and then you were thinking we were playing Golden Sun Part 2 afterwards?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I was just thinking like we just play Golden 1 Part 1 over 2 parts.
Oh, well then I feel less stressed about when I need to get these things done.
Yeah,
I can go back to playing Assassin's Creed.
I haven't even started Golden 1. After today, I'm going to start playing Golden Sun, and that's like the game I'm playing all summer. So
nice.
Yeah. All right, cool.
But
so with that,
we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Sweet. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Start Lord of the Rings. So get your Fellowship on. Hopefully, you're doing a rewatch this summer. We're gonna be along for the ride, so you can hear all our lovely thoughts. So with that, I think we say bye. Did we miss anything?
Nope. See ya.
Bye.